guys, welcome back to another video. It's now day 18 and I'm coming to you unkempt and just tired, girl. I've been sick, so this is how it comes out. So all right, anyway, we're doing the last of the three fibroids interview, and today we're talking to my sister friend Melaine. We've known each other for like primary school, I believe, primary being like elementary school here. And so it's been over 30 odd years since I've known this wonderful woman. She's a really dear friend. Now, when I started the fibroids research for the article that I was doing, I was under the impression that black women specifically, were being medically sterilized. Now, having spoken to my friends, I've been swayed a little bit, but I wonder if it's gonna be determined by the socioeconomic group, or the status of the person that I'm talking to, because all these women are educated, college educated, and above, and also would have asked the right questions, or would have done some more questioning to get the answers that they need. So I wonder if in a lower socioeconomic group I would find different answers. So that is my take on this. So as for my journey with fibroids so far, I can say that the needle is helping me shrink the actual tissue. I know when I used to lie down on my back, I would feel them. I had 3 really huge ones, and I could feel them protruding out of my stomach. So that was scary. Now they're getting a little bit smaller. I can feel that I can't feel them as readily. The pain from the menstrual pain I don't have anymore. I'm still getting my period, but I think it should be done soon. And so I'm looking forward to that, not having menstrual pain, not having the migraine, not having the cramps, not having all the inconveniences that come with a period. But I don't love the hot flashes. Like, girl, let me tell you, this thing is trying to kill me. But it's like 1 minute you're hot, the 1 minute you're cold, and especially at night, oh girl, and then the cold sweat, and Lord, let me tell you. Anyway, so I'm thinking that is just me going into perimenopause, and then hopefully menopause will come swiftly at its heels. All right, so let's check out Mel's story. The questions again will be on the screen, and if you have any comments, leave them in the comment section.
My name is Melaine Campbell. I have known Nada for over 20, maybe 30 years. Girl, that's a long time. We've known each other for a while. We attended high school at the same time. We lived in the same dorms. Our families are from the same town. So we've known each other for quite some time. My journey with fibroids, at first, I was honestly clueless. I just knew I had heavy periods and lived with it for a very long time. I don't even remember what brought me to the gynecologist. It was for an annual, or maybe it was my complaining that my period was so heavy, or it could have just been her detecting during her, her annual assessment of me. Nonetheless, she sent me for an ultrasound, and the results came back, and her words sent me into complete panic. She said, if you want to have kids, you have to start thinking about this sooner than later. What I heard was, you have to have kids now. I was 28, maybe 27, 28, and that was not what I wanted to hear. Anyway, some years passed, and I decided the fibroids needed to go because I was starting to have like major discomfort before and after my periods. I was having pain during sex, and I was also in a place where the possibility of having children was a more foreseeable option. I called a friend of mine who I knew had fibroids to see what she would suggest. She recommended her gynecologist, and I think by that time they had already done a myomectomy on her. So I did a consultation with him, and he recommended a myomectomy for me as well. The planned surgery was 2 hours. The actual surgery was 4 hours. as he kept finding more fibroids. As he would remove one, he would find there's another one under that one. So the surgery just went on and on and on, and it just took longer than he had anticipated. He literally had to stop, and he said, I can't take anymore at this point. I did not know the actual numbers, but I'm aware that the number of Black women diagnosed with fibroids was disproportionately higher than our counterparts. After all, you'll hear, oh, fibroids, oh, you have the Black woman's disease. So those numbers, yeah, I knew they were high. I do not know of many Black women that were advised to do hysterectomies. I'm thinking, yeah, no, I don't know of anyone that was like outright, between the ages of 18 and 44 that were told you have to have a hysterectomy. I mean, I do know one person that had a hysterectomy, but I think that was after trying several things. Off the top of my head, I know at least 10 women that were diagnosed with fibroids. One was of childbearing age that she did have to do a hysterectomy. And I think that's after she had done the myomectomy. She had done, I think she did ablation. She did quite a few things to combat the fibroids, but she ended up having to do a hysterectomy. The others I've known, they've done myomectomies. Some of them have done myomectomies more than once. I don't think I could handle that. I was hell-bent on doing this surgery one time and done. I wasn't trying to do it more than once. I was 32 when I did my myomectomy. Yeah, 32? Maybe 31. 31 or 32, somewhere in that range. That's when I did my myomectomy. The option that the doctor gave me was a myomectomy. Total abdominal hysterectomy was not placed on the table, and it was not an option for me. It was never put on the table. And I think because I went in telling them I was here to remove the fibroids so that I can have children. So they knew right off the bat that it was not an option for me to remove all my reproductive organs. I knew about fibroids. I mean, in that they existed. My mom had them, my aunts had them. I had friends who had them. Um, we all had similar symptoms: heavy periods, pain, pressure in the pelvic area. Um, but I didn't know what they were and what caused them. I was clueless to that part. I also did not know what to do about them. So that's why I lived with them for so long. Later in life, I found out they could be removed. And that's in just talking to people. That was when I learned they could remove, then I started doing my own research, and I dug a little deeper into what fibroids are and how they can be treated, as well as how to keep them at bay. I have heard of embolization and ablation before, but it was never offered to me as an option. If they were offered to me, it would have been a hard no, because the long-term effects of these options, the long-term effects that they have on the body, I have no interest in any of that. And really, I only found out about the long-term effects after my procedure. So I didn't even look into those things. I was like, I am not having anyone going inside of me, burning anything off, or cutting the blood supply and then waiting for them to fall off. That was not an option for me. I didn't want to take that route any at all. I think going in, I had already made up my mind as to what I wanted after doing the research, in terms of options for removal. So when the doctor presented the same option, the myomectomy route, we really only discussed that one option, because I didn't, he knew I wanted to remove the fibroids, leave as much of my uterus intact. Hopefully the fibroids were on the outside and not on the inside, which luckily enough they were for me. So the myomectomy worked for my situation. I don't think I had any hindrance. I think I had help in terms of, it helped me to nail down what I was not going to do. Ablation, I had read about that in our research. I think it was through NIH. And it was something in reference to them using a saw to remove masses, or to decrease the size of the masses so that they would be able to come out through a smaller incision so you wouldn't have such a large scar. The study had shown that women who did it that way, who did the myomectomy or did the ablation, that they end up having uterine cancer. Once I saw that, I knew that wasn't for me. After the myomectomy, I would say that my life changed in many ways. I have 3 wonderful boys. My period is no longer heavy. I do not have abdominal pains, the ones I used to have before my period and after my period. And I don't have pain during sex. So, all of those things really did take a 180. Knowing what I know now, I don't think I would have changed my decision. I think I made a well-informed decision, and I'm very happy with the results. I think my 3 boys are the highest benefits of having done a myomectomy. Now, granted, it is great to not have a heavy period. It is great to not have that discomfort or that pressure inside my abdominal area right before my period or right after my period. But I do think being able to have these 3 boys was really worth my going through and carrying out that procedure. So far, knock on wood, I have no side effects to date. Advice I would give to women in their childbearing years would be, well, 1, know what you're getting into. Do your research. 2, decide before you go in to the doctor's office, decide what you want in the long run. Are you just trying to remove the fibroids? Are you just trying to end the heavy period? Are you doing this because you want to have kids? Because knowing all of these things will help them to know, what approach they can take. Do they need to save as much of the uterus as they can? Are you not interested in them saving the uterus? I think giving the doctors as much information as you can about what you want in the long run will help in terms of how to treat your situation. And this leads me into, the third one is, advocate for yourself. Be firm. Doctors are not gods. They can tell you, oh, you need to remove all of your reproductive organs, but you have to advocate for yourself and say, no, that is not what I want. This is what I want. That's why that takes us back to, number 2, decide what you want before you go in there. Number 4, second opinions, they don't hurt anyone. So always get a second opinion. If what the doctor is telling you is not, if it makes you uncomfortable, see someone else. No one's going to be hurt by getting a second opinion. And I think the last thing is get some type of herbal, whole food supplements geared towards balancing hormones in women. And when I say whole food, I don't mean the store. I mean supplements that are made with food items. So if you get your vitamin C, it needs to come from carrots or oranges, or so. you need to make sure that the things that you're putting in your body are going to benefit you the way, in a way that you need it. Because you can help to balance the hormone in your system, then those fibroids should not come back, or they should be, if they come back, it's at a lower rate. Yeah, so that's really the advice I would give to women in childbearing years who are, going through this, this issue, this thing with, of fibroids. If I could do anything differently, I think I would have done the procedure earlier. Or would I? I'm not sure, because I'm a firm believer in everything in its own time. So maybe I wouldn't have done it earlier, but if I had to choose, then yeah, that would be something I would say I'd probably do it earlier, and then maybe I would have had kids earlier. No, but everything happens within its own time.
But I don't think I'm living. Yeah, my mama be tripping, saying